Okay, yeah, it should be live now. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started on Simon and Richter Guide. So yeah, Simon, um, got decent speed. Jump height's okay as well. Your up special doesn't send you that far, but it is better than some of the other up specials in the game. You can use pretty much any of your aerials except for down air to be able to grapple the ledge though. So, it's pretty convenient for helping out your recovery in pretty tough spots, like you can do up air if you're directly underneath it. If you're pretty far away, you can do back air or forward air. And you're not directly underneath it, you can do either of those ones. But if you're above it, you can't just snap to ledge with like a down air, as the down air will just send you directly downwards. You can also angle your back air, but I'll get more into your aerials in a second. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about your move set. So, got dash attack first. It's actually a pretty good dash attack. I kind of like to use it if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, like if somebody's like right next to me and they're charging short hop neutral air or something like that, then I will just kind of throw out a dash attack, because you kind of surround yourself with the whip for a few seconds while you move forward, so you're pretty protected, but it does have in lag and it's not that safe on shield, so you can't just throw it out every second or anything like that, but still a pretty good move for getting people away from you or just trying to retreat a bit without like retreating with back air or something like that. For your jab, you've got a 3-hit jab, and you also have the multi-hit jab there, but 3-hit is, or you kind of have to time it. Or no, it's not 3, sorry, it's 2-hit, so. But yeah, let me try to do a jab lock here. Yeah, you can just use the first hit of jab to do a jab lock, but if you hold it down, you will actually, summon this thing here, and then you can swing it around. But it, like, this is just me holding down A. You can see it does a bit of damage, but it's not really true or anything, so it doesn't combo. You just kind of have the whip there, and you can spin it. You can move it up and down. You can move it just directly behind you or directly in front of you. But it doesn't really have that much range, and it's very slow. Though it doesn't take that long to put up, so it doesn't really have that much in lag. But yeah, for your rapid jab, does a pretty decent amount of damage. It's about 10 hits and, what was that, 12%? Yeah, for 14 hits it was 14.4, so it's not really too bad, but it's just kind of your standard multi-hit jab, I guess. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into tilts. So, all of your tilts have a tipper pretty much, except for down tilt and up tilt. So I guess only 4 tilt. I was thinking of your smash attacks and aerials, but I'll get into them whenever I cover them. But yeah, with your up tilt, really good for hitting people above you, but it's not that great for hitting people right next to you. Like with Falcon there, I got lucky, but as you can see, sometimes it just doesn't connect. And then he pushed me away with his standing animation, kind of just pushed me like that. But as you can see, I'm missing, and then I finally hit him there. So it's not a very consistent hitbox, is what I'm trying to say. Then you've got just its combo potential, which is actually pretty good because it can be used to juggle. It also combos into itself if you hit it on the ground, but you have a very low chance of doing that. So it pretty much only works in the air, and then it can kind of combo into almost any one of your aerials. Like you can do an up throw and down tilt and kind of just juggle with it. Because the Belmonts do have a decent ability to juggle because they've got a lot of range, but they're much stronger from a distance. But yeah, then we got down tilt, which is a 2-hit attack, so that's the first hit there, and then if you hit A again, you'll do like a jump. But you can see it kind of launches you forward, so you do have to be careful. The first hit's pretty low profile, so you're really low to the ground, you can kind of go under certain moves. And then the second hit, you kind of shoot yourself into the air. So you're not as low, but you can still avoid certain things like projectiles, and then like down tilts and things like that by using the jump. But, I mean, it really doesn't do that much. Like, you would think it could be useful to, like, escape, but, I mean, you probably could use it to escape certain situations, like if you're getting rushed, but forward tilt, neutral air, and then dash attack are a bit better, although I would say down tilt's a bit better than dash attack actually, so. Dash attack's kind of good for running back, and then, because as you can see, when you're at the ledge, like even though you've run out of space, you can still have the hitbox around you. So that can kind of confuse people. But with down tilt, you do cover a lot more distance to be able to retreat. So, like if I were getting rushed by Falcon there, I could just kind of go all the way to the ledge pretty quickly. And then with forward tilt, it does have a tipper on the tip of the whip, but it still does decent damage and knockback. If not, I mainly just use this if somebody's like directly in front of me and they're trying to rush me. I'll just kind of spam forward tilt and it will either knock them away or they'll dodge it and then maybe get one hit, but you should have enough time to be able to react to anything, pretty much, on the forward tilt because of how fast it is. It's just kind of ridiculously fast. And then I also forgot to mention that Simon and Richter both have crawls. And then I'll go over the distance, or their differences when I go over their specials. But, yeah, they do have a crawl, but it's not that fast and it doesn't really go that low to the ground, so it's not that useful. I mainly use it if I get a kill, then I'll kind of walk around with the crawl, or I might approach with the crawl if I'm playing someone that's not that great at the game. But it's really not that useful. But yeah, forward tilt is also a pretty strong kill move. Even the non-tipper hit still kills pretty quickly. It's basically like your forward smash, except it has less range, less damage, and less knockback. But it's faster, so it's a bit safer to throw out. Yeah, now, speaking of smash attack, so we'll go over forward smash first. It does have a tipper in the same spot as the other attack, the forward tilt, except it has a bit more range, so the tipper is going to be a bit further back. The sour spot of the non-tipper is not that bad in terms of like damage output. It does more than your forward tilt's sweet spot, but it's risky to throw out. It does have a decent amount of knockback, but if it's shielded, then you can be punished really easily for throwing out forward smash. With down smash, you actually cover a lot of range. Like, it pretty much goes from the pillars in the background, so the one with the candle, yeah, the candle on it, on the right of Simon, so about right where I'm standing here. It can cover pretty much both of those pillars, just if you're standing in the center. So it has a pretty decent amount of range, kind of hit at the ledge. But yeah, as you can see, it's just a really good move for if somebody's like close to the, or if they're on the ground or pretty close to it, and they are trying to approach you, and kind of just sort of down smash just because of how fast it is. And unlike down tilt, it doesn't really move Simon, so that's the advantage of keeping Simon in place, so that way he doesn't have the potential to lose stage control unless he gets it shielded. Because something that's pretty important for Simon Richter is just to get your opponent to the ledge and then try to keep them there, or just controlling the stage in pretty much any way possible. And down smash lets you do that pretty easily because of how much range it has. But if you do miss it, or if it is shielded, parried, then it can be punished. If you miss it though, it doesn't really have too much in lag, so you should be decently okay. But yeah, up smash has a bit more in lag than most of your smash attacks, but or not most, but just forward smash. But as you can see, it covers a lot of distance above Simon, so you can kind of just hit people that are trying to land on you. It does have a hitbox on the ground, but it's a really strange one, so like there's a, basically what I'm saying is that there is a hitbox directly above Simon's head that can sometimes hit people, but it's really weird. Like, they're connected, but if I'm standing right next to Captain Falcon here, then it's not going to connect. So, but he was like laying on the ground. Like, if you hit him like that, then you can potentially still hit him with an up smash, so it's really strange. It works on certain characters, and it doesn't work on other characters. But, it still does decent damage, and it can hit like on the top platforms and things like that on certain stages. So you can just kind of hit people on the platforms if they're platform camping you. And then you can also short hop up air to be able to hit people on the platform a bit faster. Although with less damage and a little bit less in lag as well. Because up smash does have a bit of in lag, but it's not too bad. Like, you can't shield until the whip is like in Simon's hand. But, Yeah, for an out-of-shield option, Up Smash isn't really that great as, it doesn't really hit people on the ground consistently. If it did, then it would be much better, but because of that, you've still got, like, Up Special, you've got, like, short hop, neutral air, short hop, down air in certain scenarios. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for your out-of-shield. Like, you would roll and spot dodge as well, and then you can just jump and then, like, back off. But there's not that much that's too particularly fantastic. Like, it's kind of just an average out-of-shield for, Simon and Richter. Then with, your aerials, so you've got neutral air, which I mainly use for, like, spacing. So, like, if somebody's trying to approach me and I just want to keep maintaining stage control, I'll throw out a short hop neutral air. Because it's very fast. Like, as you can see, it's very fast. It covers a lot of range around Simon. So, even people that are just, like, running towards you can still be hit by neutral air. It doesn't really hit smaller opponents, so that's why forward tilt works a bit better in those scenarios. Because it can hit a lot of smaller opponents. Like, I think it still connects to P2. But unless they're, like, crawling. But then you can also just short hop down air. Which, the short hop down air, it does have a spike hitbox on the startup, but it's pretty difficult to hit the startup consistently. So, most of the time you will be hitting the sour spot, which kind of bounces your opponent in front of you. So it's really good for combos at certain percents, like not at that percent, but you can kind of see, like I was able to line up that forward air there. But you kind of just bounce off opponents, so it's decently safe on shield, I would say, because you can bounce, but certain characters can punish that. Like Simon, for example, like if you're playing against a Simon or a Richter as Simon or Richter, then they can actually punish your down air on their shield pretty easily with their up smash. But yeah, down air, it's an okay move. The main problem that I have with it is that it has a lot of in lag on the ground. Or I mean, not in lag on the ground, but landing lag. Like if you do a short hop down air, you have a pretty decent amount of landing lag, and it doesn't really hit anyone if you do it like this. And I think it should kind of like poke, because if this was like a shield poke, it would actually be a pretty decent move, but you just can't hit people on the ground with it unless you're a bit higher up. Like, imagine if you could just run up to someone's shield and then short hop down air them as Simon or Richter. Be pretty nice, but it's just, it doesn't have a hitbox that high, so can't really reach anyone there. And then if you do it off stage, then you will SD. Because your recovery can't save you. Like, you can be saved by your opponent, potentially, or your teammate if you're playing, like, doubles or something like that, but really there's not much that can help you there. Then for your forward air and back air, so forward air and back air have a lot of angles, so I'm just going to cover them with back air, so because they have the same angles, but it's just one's forward and one's backwards. So you have the neutral angle, which that was forward air, and then back air. So forward air is a bit faster, but has a bit less range than back air, and then back air also does a bit more damage. Or no, they do the same damage, I think. Let me just test it here. Yeah, they do about the same damage on the sour spot and then sweet spot. So the sweet spot's going to be on the tip, but it's not easy tipper to hit. So there we go, 15.1, and then it might be the same as your forward tilt. Yeah, it's just the same as your forward tilt. So basically, forward air is like forward tilt, but in the air. It can be angled as well. So forward tilt, as you can see, it only has that one angle there. While with forward air, you can angle it upwards, and you can also angle it downwards, so like that. You can do the same thing with your back air. So I guess I'll just show it with everything. So that's neutrally angled back air, upward angle, and then downward angle right there. So all I'm doing is just inputting the back air and then holding down, and that's how you do the down one. And then same thing with the up one, except you hold up instead of down. But all of these aerials can be used to snap to ledge, except for neutral air and down air. But you can use up air, back air. You can use the angled version of up air, or I mean of back air and forward air, and then you can just use the neutral angle on forward air as well to be able to snap to ledge with a tether. Though the tether really doesn't have that much range, it's the range of your whip. So if your whip can't reach over there, because certain tethers can actually reach a bit further than their grab range, but with Simon and Richter that's not really the case. So you want to be facing away from the ledge whenever you try to recover, because your back air has a bit more range than your forward air. You can see there, it reaches the candle, and then that reached a bit further, but as you can see there, it has about the same, or not the same, but back air has a bit more range than forward air. But it's not really too noticeable. So if you do land a forward air, and that's like your only option, I mean, is to land a forward air, then you can definitely do that, but landing back air is just going to be a bit safer. Although it does have a bit more in lag, so it's kind of situational. And then for your specials, so you've got side special, which is going to be the little cross. If you hold it down, then it will travel a further distance than if you just like tap B. So let me try to back up here. And then if it runs into anything, then it will turn around. So yeah, that like barely reached Falcon there. Oh, there we go. So yeah, see the power, or it's not if you hold it down, but it's depending on the control stick actually. So if you hold down the control stick, it will be a bit faster. I mean, not faster, but it'll be a bit slower, but it will be more powerful if you hold it down, and then if you just tap it, it will be faster. Yeah, sorry, I had that a bit backwards there. And then for up special, you've just got a pretty okay up special. It's very similar to like Mario's, except you don't really get as much horizontal distance. You just have pretty much vertical distance. I mean, you still have a bit of horizontal, but it's not that great. It can be used to kill off the top pretty easily, though. It does a decent amount of damage, and it has a pretty large amount of knockback, even at like 0. You can see there. That wasn't really 0, but here's that 0. Knocked him all the way up to about here. So it's definitely not that bad of a move to do like out of shield or anything like that. But if you do miss it, or if you're trying to recover with it, you might not be able to make it back to stage, and then if you miss it, then on the ground, it does have a decent amount of landing lag, and it puts you into special fall as well, so just something to watch out for. And then I did forget to mention that side special, if it's not grabbed by Simon, then it will just go into the blast zone of the direction that it's returning to. Unless it hits someone. But yeah, then you have neutral special, which is going to be the axe. Pretty much has the same angle as the hammers from Mario, the Hammer Brothers hammers. So if you jump, you will get a bit further distance, and it will be a bit higher. And then if you're on the ground, it will cover a little less distance and a little less height. So it's kind of good to jump, but in certain scenarios you might not want to jump. It has a bit of startup and a decent amount of in-lag. So it's kind of difficult to hit sometimes. Like, you might have to land holy water and then land the axe to kind of set up for it. But if you do land the axe, it's very powerful. It does about 20% at like 16.3. So, or no, 18.9 there. But yeah, sorry, it does 18.9, not 16.3. I don't know where I saw that, but it can also be used to kill off the top at like 60. Because of just how strong it is on certain stages. Like if your opponent was to short hop at 60% on like Battlefield on the top platform, and then you hit them with the axe, it would most likely kill. I haven't really tested that, but if it doesn't kill, it would be pretty close just because of how much knockback it has. Because like the knockback isn't really that great at 0, but it builds up pretty quickly. Like at about 100%, you can knock people from the ground to really high up in the air, so let me just try to show that. See, that's at 100%, so the knockback gets pretty insane at times, so it's a pretty big hazard on the stage, so it allows you to get a lot of stage control. Same thing with side special. It gives you stage control, but it's not as great as the axe. The axe just pretty much makes it where your opponent can't jump, and then the side special makes it where they can't like run towards you or anything without having to jump over the projectile or waiting for it to return. So you can potentially use the slide special combined with the neutral special to catch someone trying to jump over the slide special. So, like, if I were to throw out the slide special, then Falcon were to jump over it, maybe I could throw the axe to try to catch the jump. And if you haven't seen already, the axe does go through the stage, so it can be used to hit people underneath the stage when they're recovering, but not too many recoveries are affected by it. It's a decent edge guard against Joker, because with Joker's up special without Arsene, it's a tether, so if he tries to like camp you underneath the ledge for a second to see if you're going to try to approach him, you can throw out an axe and hit him through the stage. Same thing with any other tether. And it can also be used to 2-frame at the ledge because of this. And then you've got down special, which is going to be the holy water, mainly just used to confirm hits, so it's basically like PK fire. And this is where the difference between Slimeman and Richter is that Slimeman's is a fire hitbox and Richter's is just a hitbox. So it just means that Slimeman has fire properties and Richter's doesn't, which it doesn't really affect the characters too much, so they're pretty much the exact same character. It's just that Fire Pikmin can walk through Slimeman's down special, and then Slimeman can also use his down special to ignite like bombs and remote bombs and things like that. Whereas with Richter, his will just do damage. So nothing too special, and Red Pikmin can't walk through it because they'll die from it. But yeah, they're both multi-hits. In the projectile that is thrown before the explosion there, the like actual bottle of water, you can grab that, or you can just shield it and then grab it, and throw it back at Slimeman. It can also be reflected, and like if it's shielded and you don't catch it or anything, then it will just damage everyone, unless that person reflects it. But it just becomes like an active hitbox on the ground that will even hurt Slimeman if it's shielded. But if it's not shielded, then Slimeman can walk straight through it, like that. But you can just use this to confirm pretty much any move in the game. Like if you wanted to go get a kill with an up special, then you could do something like that to try and set it up at higher percents. But yeah, and then you've got your throws. So forward throw, very strong. I would say forward throw and back throw are going to be your main kill throws, but forward throw kills a bit early if I remember correctly. So forward throw is going to be a bit more useful for that. I tried to get the spike hit there, but I completely failed. And then up throw, mainly just used to start juggles. Like you can use it for things like that, just to be able to kill someone off the top. And then down throw can combo into fair at lower percents, but really it's not too useful. Like you can kill off the top at very high percents and like off the sides as well. But it's mainly just used to get a down throw into fair, which it does about 22.9% as it says there, but that's pretty much all you can do with it because it's just not that great of a combo throw or anything. Like Slimeman and Richter aren't really known for their combos. They're mainly known for their projectile, because their projectiles have a lot of uses together. So what I like to do whenever I'm using the projectiles is I'll throw out slide special to kind of get stage control, because that allows me just to run up to the middle. But if my opponent just knows that I'm going to do that, and then they try to jump over it, I'll throw out an axe to try to catch or jump. If they avoid it, then I'll like rush in with either a dash attack or a forward tilt, just to be able to knock them to the ledge, and then use down special to kind of start a ledge trap. So if you use down special about here, where I'm standing, then you can sometimes hit them at the ledge, but it's really weird if that works or not. If they do a neutral get up, then they will be hit. Sometimes when they roll, they'll get hit, so they pretty much just have to either wait for the down special to disappear, or they can jump over it in some cases, but then you can just kind of throw out an axe. Like if I'm trying to ledge trap, I'll do something like this. So let's get it on the ledge, and then I'll back up to here, and then throw an axe, because that should allow you to get in an axe hit if they try to jump over it. So pretty much our only option is to wait at ledge. Forward smash can hit them at the ledge, because you can angle down your forward smash. I did forget to mention that your forward smash can be angled, and it will hit on ledge if you do angle it downwards, but you have to space it out to be able to land the angle down hit on the ledge. Like that's pretty much the distance that you need right there to be able to hit someone on the ledge. And even then, I really don't know, because certain ledge grab animations are a bit larger than others. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into a match here. I'm just going to keep playing as Slimin, and then I will do taunts with both of them together at the end, and then we'll play Mario Maker, so, yeah. But yeah, I tried to throw out a slide special there, or not there, but whenever I was at the beginning, but I saw Falcon kind of start to run, so I figured I might wait a second. But yeah, you don't want to get grabbed or comboed or anything, because it's really hard for Simon and Richter to escape combos as they have a very slow airspeed. And then if they do get comboed, then they could potentially get edge guarded. Which is pretty much like fighting Little Mac, like you just want to try to knock them off stage and then edge guard. Yeah, caught the jump there. Yeah, I tried to do a dash hack, but I ended up forward tilting because I slide specialed and then I thought I dashed, but I just started running because I started to hold it down rather than start the dash animation. But yeah, if you throw out slide special pretty much like every time that someone's next to you, or if there's not a slide special on the stage, which is pretty much what I do. Like, if someone's not next to me, then I'll throw out slide special, and then sometimes if they're next to me, but that's pretty situational. Like, there, I would consider him next to me, so he was far enough away for me to throw it out. But if he's directly, like, there, then I wouldn't throw out slide special, because it's a bit too risky. But yeah, I throw out slide special first there rather than down special. You always want to throw out down special first. And then, if you do slide special, that's mainly just because you think they're going to try to jump back and then be above it. But most of the time, people are just either going to roll get up and then you get a forward smash if you read the roll get up. And you get like a forward tilt if you're unsure and then you just throw out a forward tilt. But, I mean, you have a few options at the ledge. But as you can see there, I use dash hack to be able to get back stage control at the beginning. But yeah, I'm kind of just bouncing around there. I'm gonna roll back a bit. Thought he might jump out of it. Because if you SDI out and then you jump out, it's definitely an option. Yeah, I tried to throw out a down smash there, but his up smash was just a bit faster. But yeah, your main goal is to pretty much just maintain stage control, which is what I'm currently doing. Although now I just lost it, so. And then, you just don't want to be off stage, pretty much as well. So if you have to sacrifice stage control to retreat, then do that. But like there, I kind of just stood still so that way Falcon would down air me. So that way I could regain stage control pretty quickly, rather than having to avoid his attack and then having to try to play neutral. And by try to play neutral, I mean retreat and then try to get into side special or forward tilt. But there, forward tilt was able to kill on, I think that was Sour Spot as well. But yeah, I tried to throw out a down special just to mix up my options there. Should have up specialed out of shield rather than tried to down smash out of shield. Yeah, just mixing up recovery there. But yeah, he managed to SDI out of the holy water there before I could get a grab. There, I hit him at the ledge, so caught his jump, and there we go. So yeah, that's going to be the game there. So now I'm going to go get Richter and then do taunts. So both of these characters are incredibly strong projectile characters. They have a decent amount of potential whenever they don't use their projectiles, but they mainly just have to use their projectiles because they just have such a good spread of projectiles that can cover so many options and allow them to maintain stage control for pretty much free, that if you don't use their projectiles, you're not really using their power. So let's go ahead and do taunts now. So let's just do zoom and then get right next to each other. So up taunt, or let's do it in the middle. Okay. Side taunt, although they weren't really facing in the right way for that, so side taunt. Now Richter's not facing the right way, so. And then down taunt. And then up taunt just to be safe. Okay, and yeah, that's going to be it for this guide. I'm going to set up things for Mario Maker, because I have done a few things on there that I kind of want to show off on stream. And then I think that'll be the last stream I do, because I just kind of plan on streaming Mario Maker for the rest of the day, as it's pretty new, and I still haven't finished the story, and I kind of want to do that. So yeah, let me just set up for that, and I guess I hope to see everyone in the next stream.